Oh, I mean, without fail, it's people. I mean, just like we were talking earlier about parties, and the reason to throw a party is people. If you're throwing a party to impress somebody, I mean, your party is already the pits.
Welcome to Talk Shop. I'm Ariel Okin, a New York-based interior designer, writer, and editor, looking to bring a little bit of magic into our homes every day. After years as a writer and editor in the interiors world, I founded my own editorial site, Fenimore Lane, in 2020, and the Talk Shop interview series was born. Each week, I delve into the personal experiences of the top interior designers and tastemakers around the globe. Rebecca, I'm so happy that we're doing this. And you were just telling me before we started about this is the first press piece you're doing for your book. Thank you so much for coming on and joining us.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah. In preparation for talking to you, I had Googled Fenimore Lane, of course. And really, I was trying to figure out where you were based. I didn't realize you were in New York.
Yes.
And I realized that the Q&A or the interview that you did with me for Talk Shop, which at that point was, I don't think you had your podcast yet. I think it was just a blog.
Yeah.
That was the day that I launched housesandparties.com, my e-com site. And then today, in like this wonderful fairy dust God wink, is the day that I published my first book. So even though we've never met in person,
Yay.
we are like a magic Stevie Nicks, rose quartz connected. I love it.
I love it. It's kismet. And I know it's crazy that we've never met in person. I'm so excited to meet you at your book party. And I've been a longtime fan of yours. So I'm so thrilled to have you on and to talk about design in a very different context, because you do something that not many of our guests that we've had on do. You do event design, which I am really thrilled to chat about.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really flattered.
Oh my God, of course. Well, to kick off the conversation, can you describe your style in 3 words or less?
Whether I'm designing an event or an interior, my style is always lavish, irreverent, and confident.
It so tracks for you too. That's what I think of when I think of your brand and your aesthetic.
Oh,
I love it.
Oh, good. So I can read the room.
Yes. And like great party hats and silver and like candlelight. One of my favorite tricks that I think I read from you was the inside of your lampshade should be pink card. Was that you?
Yeah, I think that a pink light bulb or a lampshade lined in pink silk, it casts a flattering glow. And I think that's really important when you're in your own house. But it is super important at a party because the dimmer the lights, the more beautiful you feel, and the more beautiful your guests feel, the more fun they have. And the more fun they have, the more they drink. And the wilder the party becomes. I want guests to walk in to a party that I have designed and think, damn, this is creative. I am going to have a blast.
Yeah.
I care much more about that than what do you think they spend on flowers?
Right. Because people don't remember that. People remember how they felt. It's the same with interiors.
Yeah, there must be a better quote to reference for what we're trying to say, but you get it.
100%. And for those listening, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you are at this point in your life right now and how you sort of found yourself into events.
I grew up in South Texas, which is a very specific kind of Texan. I went to school in Mississippi, where most of my family is from. And I now live half-time in Savannah, Georgia, and half-time in Greenwich Village in New York City. And I run a kind of wild business that I started in 2011. It's called Houses and Parties, and it's a 3-ring circus. We do event design, interior design, and I have an e-commerce shop which sells things for houses and parties, like the name. But really, we are a place for imaginative ideas and unnecessaries to make your houses and your parties, your interiors and your occasions memorable.
I love that. And I love the crossover because it's so unique and no one does both at the same time. And to your point about creating that feeling, I think there's such a big synergy between both. And yet you kind of have this like niche market cornered, which I love. And you studied art history in college. You went to SCAD, right?
I went to Ole Miss and I studied English and history. My degree really from Ole Miss was just simply in college. And so I had to move on pretty quickly after my 6th year with no degree to the Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, where I really enjoyed being a student for the first time. And I studied art history in Savannah while I was working for the founder and president of the school, which was, an amazing experience.
Oh, that's so cool. I also feel like studying art history gives you such a foundation that you can then bring into all of the things that you do. And having that background helps set the stage and the foundation for what you.
Totally. I use color theory like every single day. Yeah. I mean, and how often do you think, like when you have an interior install and you're deciding where art goes and you think about composition and the triangle and the larger photos on top or on bottom?
Totally.
I was always a terrible, terrible student. I've always been a really hard worker and I have a lot of energy and excitement, but I was a hideous student. I think I felt pretty badly most of my years at Ole Miss because I drank so much beer and I was hungover all the time. But when I really started studying art history, I found passion, which has, applied to everything. And I'm grateful for that.
I think it's so interesting how you found yourself starting Houses and Party. Can you explain a little bit about how you ended up starting the business?
I've been interested in events and design my entire life. I mean, I grew up, like I said, in South Texas by a gaggle of effervescent, resourceful, elegant, teased and hairsprayed Texan ladies. And everyone entertained and everyone did it really well. And even more than that, and, the starched linens and the sparkling silver, everybody knew how to have a good time and to be a good guest.
Yeah.
Where I am from in South Texas is sort of right at the bottom of the boot by Mexico, and it's cowboy country. And it's 4 hours from Houston and 3.5 hours from San Antonio. So pretty far.
Yeah.
So we make our own fun.
I love that.
I watched this and participated in this, my whole childhood. So entertaining is in my blood. And even looking back, which I don't do often, but I was forced to when writing this book, my childhood memories are really arranged by party, in particular, my birthday parties. And my mother, who is a beautiful entertainer, was a great enabler to my passion for parties. She was an excellent cook and she's hysterical and indulged sort of bizarre kitchen themes like the pink and green piglet and frog barbecue relay race one year. Or she staged a fashion show for me for my 7th birthday and tapped a glamorous local newscaster. Her name was Catherine Childers, and she had the biggest 80s hair and the biggest engagement ring you've ever seen. I was absolutely mesmerized, long red fingernails. And she also had been a Secret Service agent for the Kennedy children. So she was just about the most glamorous person that I knew, age 4 to 40.
Yeah, that's the coolest story I've ever heard. And as someone who has a 6-year-old daughter, my daughter would absolutely have a conniption if I did that for her party. She would love it.
So Catherine Childers was the MC of the fashion show, and she would talk about all my friends and the looks that they had put together. And then at the end, I appeared very dramatically in white polyester as the bride at the end of the runway, the runway was actually a pebbled driveway on the side of our ranch style house.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was really fun. So I didn't ever know that this was going to be my job. I really always thought that I would be the first lady or the Princess of Wales. And I mean, to this day, my right arm has much bigger muscles than my left because of all of the years of waving to my audience in the mirror.
My mom taught my daughter how to do the queen wave, and she just walks around the house tilting that hand. It's like
elbow, elbow, twist, twist.
Yeah.
Touch the pearls and blow a kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I need to borrow your daughter for a little tea time.
Oh my God. Her eyes would be saucers. She would be in heaven. Do you have any good stories from the early days of starting your business? And how did you figure out the blend of events and interiors too?
I just couldn't decide, to be honest.
I love that.
Yeah. When I left SCAD, I really wanted to do both. And I was honestly focused more on interiors. And my friend Derek Blasberg, who had come to SCAD so many times to talk to students about creative writing and fashion, is a mentor. I led this initiative called SCAD Style, where we would bring movers and shakers in the world of art and design to Savannah to talk about their experience, share life lessons, and really more than anything, mentor students who have a much different experience than, say, a student at NYU or Parsons or in a big city.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah, it was really fun for me and an incredible experience. And those years at SCAD being surrounded by so much talent were really formative for me. But Derek had come to speak. I talk in my book about how I started dreaming of moving to New York, which, most people do in their 20s. I really didn't until I was 30.
Yeah.
When I was in my 20s, I would sort of play with the idea of moving in New York. And at that time, Derek was, all over Harper's Bazaar, and he's so handsome. And so I had this huge sort of, before Instagram, I had this Harper's Bazaar crush on Derek Blasberg. And I thought I wanted him to be my boyfriend. It wasn't years later until I realized that he already had a boyfriend,
Yeah.
But he is my dear friend. He's always been so supportive of me. And one of the biggest gifts that he gave me was Lauren Santo Domingo. And I met her at the time that she was launching Moda. And I did a lot of parties for her personally, and then also for Moda. And she had fabulous advice for me. And one of those was focus on parties. There are so many fabulous interior designers, which I do believe is true, especially in New York City. And, parties is your specialty niche.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful to her for that candid advice among, so many other endorsements and enthusiasms. But, I continue to do interiors, and I love doing residential interiors. I'd love to do a hotel because I feel like that's like the ultimate love child of houses and parties, hospitality and interiors.
Totally.
And honestly, I believe that like a house is a party, is a house is a party. And if you are going to go on and on, like your clients do with you, meticulously planning environments, you should share them and celebrate them. And nothing is sadder to me than designing a house that no one ever enjoys.
But it's true, right? Because if you're creating this space that you're like afraid to have a glass of wine in, you're not going to enjoy it. And also the thread between houses and parties is that you're creating a story from beginning to end. And you do that so well. And your own home is so beautiful. I remember seeing it featured. It was featured a couple years ago. And it was like, I still remember it. It's so unique and special to you. And you just have such a point of view.
I've got opinions. I don't know if I'm not sure what my point of view is, but I've got ideas and I've got opinions.
It's a good thing though. Honestly, in today's era when so much is just white and gray and blah. Bring the opinions on. Your shop is so fun. You have the most amazing, the party masks and like the bunny hats and everything. Like it's so good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's true.
I do believe that this is hard, honest work, planning parties and selling unnecessaries. Because if people at any level, I mean, certainly there's a certain audience for application for the parties that are in my book, and I acknowledge that. The shop allows ideas, and we have this incredible newsletter that everyone on my team works so hard to create that is full of ideas and resources. It's not just a sales ploy. But you know, the website allows me to share ideas and resources with a much broader audience than those that hire me to do parties. And the book allows me to have an even broader audience. You know, it's $45. So
Yeah.
that is really exciting for me. But I do believe that this is good, honest work, because if you don't celebrate and you don't mark occasions with effort at any level, I feel like memories, you know, looking back, your life memories will be beige.
Yeah.
And to me, that is a real sad ending.
It's true though. Like life is meant to be celebrated, and these moments that we connect with each other, especially in today's digital time, putting away the phone and like actually having, as you say in your book, a screaming blast is what you remember.
Sure. I mean, and look, I can sell you sterling candlesticks and party hats and buttons of truth and all the things that I love until I'm blue in the face. But if your guests are a bore, your party's going to be a bore. It's all about people and having a mix of people and different backgrounds and different ages. And you know, parties are power. There's no better way to introduce two like-minded people or to completely different people. There's no better way to make a new friend fast if you're entertaining at home. It's so intimate. In the end, it's all about effort and people.
Yeah, it's true.
Hallelujah.
And you've expanded so much too. I mean, you talked about the newsletter, the book, which I cannot wait to get and read. How have you seen your company and your own design sort of evolve over the last 15 years?
Well, I started in 2011 doing interior design and event design. And in 2020, I launched the e-commerce site, which is also called Houses and Barties. I was like a Southern bride, you know, with a file folder of tear sheets. I was ready to go. All I needed was the fiance. And COVID gave me a wonderful opportunity to launch that e-commerce site. And, you know, there were a lot of people that flourished during COVID. It was very difficult for my business because most of our interior projects were in New York City. And of course, no one was entertaining.
Yeah.
So the silver lining was this website.
And especially during that time, I mean, it was tricky because all the buildings were shut down. You couldn't do work. There were like work stop orders. It was like crazy. And then as the summer of COVID came along, people started having stuff outside and having parties and kind of connecting in real life. And I remember that was when I first found you, was that summer of 2020. And I was like so taken with what you were doing and your point of view and your voice. So I'm so happy to see how much you've grown. And also, I cannot wait to read your book. It is so pretty, and I can't wait to have it on my coffee table. First of all, it's beautiful. And I know that you've got some amazing tips and tricks in there for sure.
There's a library of resources in the back that was really a joy to put together with all of my favorite obvious things like florists and Caroline's cakes. But then there are a lot of things that, you know, someone might not know from a professional event planner. So that's very joyful for me to share all these amazing vendors and friends that create things.
And also like way to not gatekeep. I feel like so many people are so close to the vest with stuff. And, you know, one of the best things about these books are that people can actually get takeaways from them and like execute on their own at home. So that's really exciting.
You know, honestly, when I first started my interior design business, Katie Ritter's book was really, really popular. I mean, it's so good.
Yeah.
And in the back of her book, she had a very generous, transparent list of resources that helped me tremendously. And that I actually am just thinking about this right for the first time. And that is the inspiration for me doing that. I think it's so good for these artisans that are so rare and a dying breed and that we need.
Totally.
If there's one thing that I have tons of, it is ideas. So I'm not worried about gatekeeping. And I think it's a nice thing to support your vendors. And I mean, the other thing is you got to know what to do with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Just because I use the same upholsterer or lampshade person doesn't mean the lampshades are, going to look the same. So I'm excited to share that. I think it's fun.
Totally. It's a celebration, like you said, of the makers and the artisans and giving them their due, which is half of it, truthfully.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little party in itself.
What does it feel like being a first-time author?
Honestly, I'm pretty excited. I'm a little nervous. This book is hardly a memoir, but it's definitely personal. And I feel like it's unpretentious. I hope it's unpretentious. So it's a little like, here we go. Here's the inside of my purse. Here I am. Here's my brain. Here's my heart. And, then please like me. Please like me. Do you like me?
But that's what the best kind of books are like, because you actually feel like you get to know the person and they're warm, versus when you feel like you're reading something that's teaching you but not connecting with you, it's a little harder to get the take homes. You know what I mean?
Good. Well, I hope you like it. I'm very excited. It's been in my head for a really long time.
Oh, that's amazing. Was the writing process fun? Like, did you enjoy going through and you wrote it yourself?
I did. I had help. I mean, I like to write, but writing a book like this was really uphill.
It's hard.
It is hard. And at some point, it's almost like you feel like you're a senior in high school, and everyone's already drinking Bud Lights in the parking lot, but you're still trying to finish that one essay on the back of the English exam.
Yes.
It was not easy for me. Speaking of all these incredible artists that I worked with and knew when I was at SCAD, they're throughout the book. And one of them is Emily Testa, who's a fabulous writer and was my colleague at SCAD. And I wrote the book in 3 weekends, not in the same,
oh my God,
in the same month, but one weekend I printed out all the photos from the parties that I had saved. So parties that had not been all over my Instagram, parties that were not on my website, parties that were not given or pitched to press. So I had this little trove of, secret drawer of party pictures, and I printed them all out. I probably could have had a new car, maybe a Kia, but a new car for what that cost. I had these 9x12 photos on cardstock printed in full color. And I turned my garage into like a big storage butler's pantry. So I taped them all over the wall and organized them. And that was one weekend, like a full Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and edited all of that.
That's wild.
It was wild. And then the second weekend, I wrote anecdotes and notes. So thought that I would do this for years. I've kept notes just on my phone and then in spirals, and I keep a journal. And so, I had notes there. Post-it makes these biggest Post-it you've ever seen in your life. I mean, maybe it's 3 feet wide by 5 feet tall. Have you seen those?
No.
Oh, they're crazy. If I had children, I would use them to make the house rules. I'll send you some with big Sharpies. So I remember scented markers, like the blueberry one and the green one. Mint. So I bought those because I thought I haven't used those in years. There's a cherry one that's delicious.
Yeah.
I bought those to make it more joyful. And I wrote out all the anecdotes and all the notes and all the ideas and all my inspiration and stories. And then I cut them all with scissors and organize them. So that was sort of the writing that I did.
Your book process is so much more fun than mine.
It was not easy. And then the third weekend, I had Emily come and sit with me, and I would have never finished this without Emily. She's an incredible writer, and she helped me put it all together and added the icing.
It's hard. People don't realize how much work goes into these books, especially when you're writing them yourself, which is, why they're such a labor of love and why they feel so personal, I think, also. So I can't wait to read yours.
Oh, I'm excited for you too. I'm excited for you too. I
Oh my
appreciate
God, thank
your
you.
interest. I mean, honestly, it's so flattering. And I'm excited to share it with my small slice of the world. And I appreciate that you want to read it.
Oh my God, 100%. And I know everyone listening will too. You have like a cult following. I'm so like jazzed for you. It's so exciting. So let's chat a little bit about design and events. What is your favorite thing about working within design, specifically interiors, and then also events?
Oh, I mean, without fail, it's people. I mean, just like we were talking earlier about parties, and the reason to throw a party is people. If you're throwing a party to impress somebody, I mean, your party is already the pits. So people, and what I learned working at SCAD was how to work with artists. And sometimes they were professional artists, but a lot of times they were student artists. And so that is a diplomatic star in my crown,
Yeah.
but it's hugely rewarding. I think that that is why my parties are exceptional, because I work with amazing artists.
Yeah.
And we don't just order flowers that we plop down the middle of the table. I work with Taylor Patterson at Fox Fodder Farm. She creates an installation.
Yeah. It's like set design.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no dropping an arrangement down the middle of the table. And we nerd out, I mean, at least 3 phone calls an event talking about I use the word lanyap. It's Creole for little extras, but what is the lanyap going to be? And she'll bring extra flowers to sort of drop on top of napkins as if someone had been standing under the camellia and the blossom fell.
Yeah.
I work with this amazing artist named Trish Anderson, who's an old SCAD friend, and she's created wild things for me, like 10-foot hand-painted butterflies that flutter overhead, but you don't see them because of the tree branches that Taylor has installed until the spotlights come on when the sun is set.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that working with people and working with artists, this balloon sculptor, really, Jason Hackenworth, did a party that's in the book. I mean, even the lighting designers that I work with are incredible artists. And so, I can dream and dream in the shower, in the morning, in the car, and that's fine. But you have to have a group of people with whom you can figure out how to make it happen. And also that gets in your head and I get in their head.
Yeah.
And that's why I work with the same people over and over again. I work with clients. I have a lot of repeat clients, and I try to work with the same vendors as much as possible, because that relationship is one of my greatest assets, and it makes for an exceptional event. Adam Kuehl, who's the photographer that did the majority of the photographs in the book, and I went to SCAD at the same time, worked together at SCAD, and he shoots everything, whether it be the photos in the book or all of my e-com. I mean, he's another incredible artist that, we can just sort of like grunt or roll our eyes or smile, and we don't even have to talk to each other. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm on a tangent, but I truly believe that's my secret power, or my relationship.
I think the secret sauce is in a creative industry is having that shorthand with talented artists who can convey your world and your message the way you envision it in your head. And I think, I feel that way about the stylists that we work with and the photographers we work with, like on the interior side, because once you have established that deep relationship and knowing of what it is that you're trying to do, and you don't have to explain, the magic really happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there a design rule, and this could be for interiors or events or both, that you always follow, or is there one that you think is made to be broken?
I think that good parties require good guests.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to say hello and to say goodbye to your host. There's a reason that you're there, and the host may want to introduce you to someone. The host may want to thank you for something. It's also the polite thing to do. That is really a pet peeve of mine. Also, responding.
Oh my God, I know.
And then a rule to break I mean, this is kind of funny. I have always been so against candles in the daytime, so much that I have a Dave Shrigley that says candlelight in the daytime serves no purpose. But I had a luncheon not too long ago for a dear employee and friend. It was a wedding shower, and the space was not that great. The food was good, the location was convenient, but the venue was not that great. And so we closed, I mean, it was a luncheon, and we closed all the windows or all the shutters, and then closed the curtains over the windows. It was almost like we were preparing for a hurricane.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
I lit masses of candlelight and served lots of champagne.
Is there a seance happening? Like, what is?
Oh, I think everyone thought I was like a vampire.
It's amazing.
And people thought I was so weird walking into the event, but we passed champagne and kept the cocktail hour just a little bit longer so that everyone definitely had 2 glasses. And when people sat down at the table, it was so fun and it was so lively. I have never been to those places in Vegas where you walk in and you don't know if it's night or day. That doesn't appeal to me, but I have learned something from that legend because people had a damn good time and forgot that it was the middle of the day, on a Thursday. And I wish that I could have filmed people, walking out of the restaurant. It was in Midtown in Buckhead, Atlanta. They definitely had their sunglasses on. But I think candlelight's really, really, really powerful. And I always try to keep clients away from venues that don't allow real candles because those little wiggly silicone nipply things just don't do it for me.
Yeah, they don't do it. Okay, a few personal questions now. What do you think your home says about you?
Come in, have a drink.
I love that. And it like totally fits your vibe in the best way. Also, everybody wants to hang out with that person.
I have a great house in Savannah that is a big house, and it was built in the 40s and it's contemporary, but it does have big rooms and then small rooms. And so it's really fun for entertaining because you can move people throughout the night. And, we can move from the living room to the dining room, to the bar, to the library, to outside. And then you sort of turn a corner where I have this nasty, actually, carports. Do you know what I'm talking about? They cost like $300 at Sam's Club. And I bought one of those for this lawn on the side of my house. And I save branches before a party and then zip tie them so no one can see the structure. And then I make like a little hobbit hole. There was an incredible artist named Patrick Doherty that makes these, I think it's called Stickworks is what he calls this work, but they're these amazing little hobbit huts. I mean, they're really, truly beautiful sculpture. So mine's from Sam's Club. But that's great. That's the great thing about Savannah. And then in New York, I mean, my apartment is the size of a bread and butter plate, but it gives a kind of Holly Golightly, champagne in the bathtub kind of feel. And I happen to have, this is crazy, this teeny apartment, which is really like a little hotel room, has a big walk-in coat closet. And so there is a bartender that I love, and he's short and he shakes a damn good martini. So I put him in that closet. And he loves it. I mean, he's like, I hope he loves it, but he's the hit of the show and he's quite a showman and has a great sense of humor. And so I love to say, like, may I take your coat? And then he'll on cue put his arm out, like he's, in the chorus line, take the coat. God, and then I open the door. Of course, there's a lot of like, excuse me, because it's so small. And then, we just die laughing and he'll make a martini.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
So there's no excuse, teeny apartment or big house, no excuse. And I also like to entertain at restaurants a lot in the city because, sometimes my apartment really is teeny.
And it's convenient too. Like you don't have to clean up after, it's just like easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are some of your favorite places to shop for either home or also events too?
KRB, of course. I know that Kate is a friend of yours, and I find endless inspiration with the treasures that she sells. She's also a great patron of artisans and loves to commission
Yep.
weird and wonderful. So I love that about her. My uncle has a shop in Houston. It's an antique store called W. Gardner Antiques, and he has the most beautiful, sort of important continental antiques, but also with a wicked twist. When I was working on this book, I got to go to the Cravat archives
Oh my
just
God.
outside of the city, and I dug through. It was so fine. So I love to shop at Brunswick and Lee Joffa. They have the most amazing archival collection that certainly complements what they're selling now. And so my book is full. I'm sure you've seen this, but it's full of Lee Joffa and Brunswick prints. And so those are obviously a source of inspiration. I hope that you can see that, like, sort of in the maximalist approach to flowers and prints and juicy color. So that's a destination.
Where do you find your inspiration?
This is so dull, but travel. I always come home with so many ideas. I love Pinterest. Like, I can spend hours on Pinterest. I probably spend half an hour on Pinterest every morning, just frying my eyeballs with beautiful things.
Uninterrupted Pinterest time is like such a luxury.
Oh, and if you have an iron pillowcase and an hour with Pinterest, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
nothing is more exciting. Like herbal essence commercial joy.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, I do want to tell you about this, especially because you're in New York, and I'm sure so many of the people that are listening to this are in New York. The New York Public Library has this service because you can't go and dig through the stacks. You have to request certain books. And they have this amazing staff when you go to the main reading room of all these hip, young, smart librarians. That's a stylish course of study now. And I went in there because I had a few extra hours and I was in the neighborhood, and I said, can I just look at, Town and Countries from 1960? And the girl said, well, tell me what you're working on. I said, I just was thinking for inspiration. I have a couple of hours. And she said, well, we don't have them here, but we can pull them from the stacks. And she said, if we're going to pull things from the stacks, it's going to take however many weeks, and tell me what else you're interested in. And she sat there with me for probably an hour, looked at my website, asked me a million smart questions. And 3 weeks later, I actually brought my whole team. I was so excited. They put us in one of those beautiful, majestic reading rooms with the green glass lampshades and the iron library ladder.
Oh my God, this sounds like such a dream. I want to do this for one of our projects and pull like background references. Wow.
Totally. And they pulled things like, I said, what about this magazine? She said, oh, no, that is not glamorous enough. She pulled Sherwin-Williams advertisements from
Wow.
1940 to 1959, citing the reason that I had no idea, because she thought that I would like that palette.
Wow.
She heard me say that I liked dirty pastels in this interview that she did with me, just off the cuff. This is not something that's like printed out. They had, without me requesting on their own, they had thought to pull Gilded Age Society columns talking about grand parties. There were anecdotes from Mrs. Astor's 400. There was an entire file on Truman Capote's ball.
This is the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Are your palms sweating?
I'm dying.
And
like my jaw is on the floor.
Guy came up to me and said, I know you told whomever that you weren't interested in Art Nouveau, but I did pull this book of textile design because it's your palette and I think you'll enjoy the soft curves. And I mean, I wanted to kiss him. So anyway, I just want everyone to know about that. I think it's such an incredible institution to support financially, specifically. Like, support them. Like, don't support them by just going, but support them by getting money. Because this service is free to the public, and I cannot think of anything to more effectively open doors to ideas and inspiration in the world. And it makes me tearful because it made such a difference in what I was working on. And I continue to go back.
My jaw is like on the floor. I have to do this. Also, especially like in this age of like AI generated references and information, like to have a human team sit and really listen to you and then go hand pull these things from the stacks at the New York Public Library is truly such an incredible experience. This is so cool. I'm so excited that you told me about this.
I think it would be a great, like, instead of taking to somebody to some ridiculously expensive lunch and then giving them a set of, 6 Murano tumblers for their birthday, I think you could just make a fat donation to the New York Public Library and have them pull whatever interests your friend. I mean, I just can't think of anything more personal and wonderful. Such an institution to support.
Oh my God. Well, that's like the best piece of advice that we could possibly end on to that question. I'm going to go into our rapid fire now, which they don't really have anything to do with design, but I always love to ask them.
Okay.
What is your favorite food?
Thai.
I love pad thai too. What's your favorite food? This is not one of our Take 10, but what's your favorite food to serve at an event?
Just whatever is simple and delicious comfort food. And I always have like a substantial protein, a sinful starch, like something sort of buttery and cheesy.
Yeah.
I always have a leafy green salad. And then I have lots of choices for picky eaters. I don't ever ask for dietary requirements. I'm just always sure that everyone has options. And if if a pine nut's going to kill you, you'll let me know,
Yeah, so true.
And then a really monumental theatrical dessert.
Oh my God. I want to go to these parties. They sound truly fabulous. What is your favorite drink?
A Coca-Cola on cracked ice with lemon, or expensive champagne, really, really cold on an empty stomach.
Well, that's a recipe for a good party.
Yeah, that's how my book was made.
Favorite film?
Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette.
Oh my God. I remember the first time I watched that and I felt like my brain went into another dimension when I was a kid when I watched it.
I mean, so lush. And by the way, Manolo Blahnik is releasing a collection of shoes designed for the film
No way.
next month. Yes.
Yes. Oh my God, that's so exciting.
So exciting.
That set design in and of itself is like its own world forever. Favorite hotel?
The Bristol in Paris. There's just no place where you feel more taken care of.
Yeah, that's a special place. Favorite city?
New Orleans.
Favorite bedding?
Oh, I love bedding. Crispy Porto. Anything really good, Percal.
Me too. Tea or coffee, and how do you take it?
Coffee. I can't remember the last time I ordered tea.
You were just like, no to the tea.
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes like iced green tea, but like a lot of it. I think the cup would be so unattractive to serve as much as I needed. Definitely coffee. Iced coffee.
Favorite playlist or music to listen to?
I am not great with music. So everyone in my office and all of my friends are going to laugh when I tell you that I always start with Pink Martini. And then I hope that the night ends with like 90s hip hop.
That makes sense though. Like Pink Martini is like, it's like a vibe into another vibe, It's
a Mondo Mio, like a tall slit on a black dress is a great way to start a party.
That's amazing. Favorite weekend activity?
Oh gosh, when I'm in Savannah, I love to be on the water. I love to be outside, but I also love ironing the bunch of spray starch in my library, watching like Sopranos reruns.
I mean, it's deeply satisfying.
I love to play house, like to organize and to cook and to label everything, but I'm not at home that much. And I probably haven't ironed a thing in a really long time, but that's my fantasy.
Favorite design book? I know that's a tricky one.
Jeffrey Bill Huber, maybe it was his second design book. It was called The Way Home. And it was the one that was styled sort of wildly with the interiors seemingly lived in. Cushions on the sofa weren't fluffed and the shopping bags by the door.
Yeah.
I thought that was so beautiful. And I mean, I think he is really a magician.
Yeah, so talented, beyond. Our final question, which we ask everyone, what is your advice for someone looking to define their own interior style?
To define your own interior style, I think that it's important to follow your gut and to reminisce on rooms that have made you feel best.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't worry so much about what is in vogue or what other people think is chic.
Amen. I love that. Because the best rooms come from being personal and not something you found on an algorithm.
I think the pursuit of chic is a very dangerous, slippery slope, kind of like the pursuit of being cool. It's not friendly. It's not welcoming. I don't like people that are cool. I honestly don't like cool colors. I like warm colors and people that give big hugs and people that throw their head back and laugh. And to me, that's a room with a mushy sofa and pools of flattering light and yummy carpets and repeating patterns that are restful. I mean, that wasn't the question, what I like. Sorry.
No, it was.
I have smiling. A microphone and I have a microphone and a headset. I'm becoming a little narcissistic with my new
I started smiling when you said that about not pursuing being cool, because it always reminds me of that quote from Almost Famous, the Philip Seymour Hoffman quote. The only true currency in this bankrupt world is what you share with someone else when you're uncool. It's the authenticity piece. I love it.
Oh, me too. Me too. Man, I loved him like big time.
Yeah. I mean, he was so talented. And where can listeners find more about you and Houses and Parties?
My whole life, housesandparties.com.
Thank you, Rebecca, so much for joining us. This was so much fun.
Thank you so much. Ditto. I appreciate it. And I'll see you really soon.
That's a wrap for this week's episode of Talk Shop. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with more thoughtful discussions and amazing guests. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube so you never miss an episode. And of course, follow me at Ariel Okin. See you next week.